attending these schools set up by the missionaries, and one of the missionaries from the Eddy family, one of the well-known families, came to my grandmother and asked if she would allow them to take my father to be educated in Beirut. My grandmother, who was happy because she had a large family, five daughters and a son, very little income, said of course. So my father went to the primary school of what was then called the Syrian Protestant College. Later became the American University of Beirut. So my father had the good fortune to have a university education. I believe he was the only one of the family who had that chance. When he had finished, he met a cousin of his who was already established in Manchester, who had come to Beirut to get married. Met my father, liked my father, and said, "Why don't you come and join me in Manchester?" My father accepted. I believe if he hadn't gone to Manchester in England, he would have probably gone to New York, where there were already a number of Judaic families like the Shabaras, Samaras, Abu Samras, or to Wichita, or to Oklahoma. But he stayed in Manchester. And
what was that man's name, the business partner, your father?
Yusuf al-Jibril. He was a cousin of my father on his mother's side.
And you mentioned that your father was one of the first to get a university education, and you've been an educator, your brother was an educator.
Yeah.
Education is so important to our family. We have many educators in our family. Would you talk a bit about, give us the history of the foundation of the Marjayoun National College here in Marjayoun?
In 1948, after the partition of Palestine, a number of people from Marjayoun who were living and working in Palestine came back to Marjayoun. In addition, we had thousands of Palestinian refugees in the town. The situation was very serious, not just politically, but socially, financially. It was a serious situation. My father had the idea of combining the existing Protestant school and Greek Orthodox school, which were private schools, let's say not government schools, private schools, combining it into one non-sectarian school, which would provide education for the young people from all ages and all genders. He had the good fortune to find a member of the Ghulmiye family, Labib Ghulmiye, who had been the head of a school in Jerusalem, who came back to Marjayoun, and my father put him in charge of the school, which started its work in the residence of the Greek Orthodox bishop, because at that time there was still no building. My father then started to collect money to build the school. He went on more than one occasion to North America, to South America, to Brazil. He came particularly to Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas, where, as you know, most of our American family live or were born there. So he was able to raise money to buy the land on which the school today is built. I particularly remember that one of the larger portions of land was bought or given by the Massad family. That was the land.
And how did he arrange for the building of the actual campus itself?
The campus was built through a lucky chance. I was in Tunisia. I had, as I said, the rank of ambassador in Tunisia. I was an advisor to Habib Bourguiba, who had become Prime Minister and then President of Tunisia. When you're an ambassador, you have the equivalent rank of any other ambassador from any other country. And an ambassador represents the head of state. So it's an important position and allows you to meet the highest rank of officials. I became very friendly with the American ambassador. And I became very friendly also with the regional head of the Ford Foundation, who was based in Tunisia. The Ford Foundation at that time was interested in educational projects throughout the world, and in particular in the Arab world. And I heard that the Ford Foundation were giving grants for school buildings in various countries. So I approached their representative in Tunis, who had already been in Beirut. He knew Beirut. I invited him to Marjayoun. He came in the summer. He saw where the school was. He heard all about it. I briefed him about it. And we wrote a memorandum putting a request for money for a building. The Ford Foundation in New York responded positively. They gave us a grant of $90,000 with two conditions. The first condition was that we should raise an equivalent amount of money, another $90,000, and that we should accept the plan for the school, the physical plan for the school, from architects nominated by them. Of course, we agreed. I then went to Beirut and raised the question with the American ambassador in Beirut. At that time, the American government was selling wheat to the Lebanese government, but they didn't cash the cost of the wheat. They put it into a fund to be spent by the Lebanese government on cultural or educational projects. At that time, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Education in Lebanon were friends of my father, friends of myself. I went to them and asked if we could have $90,000 from their money. They said, yes, of course, you can have it. So that's how the school was built. 10 buildings cost $180,000.
That's amazing. Once again, you're at the right place at the right
That's
time,
right.
with the right ability to talk to the right people.
That's right.
And
Yes.
made a tremendous contribution to your community.
And you have seen the school, and
Yes.
you've seen the architecture and the plan and the grounds.
Yes, we took a tour of the school yesterday, and we will have video for the family to see.
Well, I would like to think that this school, in a way, is a permanent memorial record of the contribution of the Marjayoun community in the United States and in Brazil, and of course of the United States, the Ford Foundation and the United States government. We are thankful to all those who contributed to this great school, which has literally produced thousands of graduates who otherwise, because of the situation in Marjayoun, in the area, would have had a very much more difficult life than they have had.
And they've been educated primarily in English, in the English system?
Well, the majority either went to Beirut or went abroad, I would say mostly to the United States. Some of them have remained in the United States, have had distinguished careers. Others went into business, have had successful careers in the Gulf, and have contributed, still contributing to the school and to the town.
And the Horany family has continued to support it. There was recently a gymnasium and cultural center were added through the
Yes.
generosity of the mall.
Yes, our cousin Ahmad Horany, who is the son of Isa Horany, who was the son of Salima Horany, who married another Horany, Salimi being my aunt. Ahmad Horany has been extremely generous. He has restored the church. He has built at his expense the municipal building. He has built a large auditorium and sports center for our school. He has built a clinic for the mosque. And in addition, he has helped financially and still helps a great many families in the town.
And he was recently just elected the mayor.
He is now the mayor, yes.
So we're prepared to be welcomed at the highest official levels in Judea Marjayoun by the mayor, who told me 2 days ago that he would love to see the Horanis, more of the Horanis from America, come to Judea. We're here in summer, and it is a beautiful time of year in Judea. Would you tell us just a little bit about what sorts of fruits and vegetables and crops are grown here in Judea and are plentiful now at this time?
Well, it's really the beginning of the summer season. So there are all kinds of fruits, such as apricots and plums and peaches.
And watermelon?
Watermelons. In our garden here, we have eaten the mulberry tree, the fruit of the mulberry tree, which was planted by my grandmother. It still exists. We still have the fig trees, the olives, which my grandmother planted. We have quinces and pomegranates.
Delicious.
And grapes. And
you're also a gourmand, so you've written a cookbook. You're cooking.
well, no, I'm not a gourmand. I'm interested in food because I think everyone should be in food, interested in what they eat.
Well,
It's such a basic part of one's life.
And our family is very interested in food and what we eat.
No, I didn't write a cookbook. I wrote a book because I had, and that's a later part of my life, I went for many years to Jordan, where I participated in the life of Jordan from 1990 onwards, after the beginning of the first Iraqi war. I was an advisor to the king and to his brother, Prince Hassan. So I went frequently to Jordan, and I was interested by the fact that the Jordanians don't claim that they have their own cuisine. If you ask a Jordanian, what's your cuisine? They tell you, we don't have one. We only have mansaf, which is the equivalent of the Lebanese uzi, which is a sheep on a bed of rice and so on. So I got interested. I started asking old ladies and chauffeurs and soldiers, what do you eat every day? At first they will tell me, well, nothing much, you know. They think what they eat every day is just what we call grub. It's just nothing. It's not real serious food. They think serious food is French or Italian or Lebanese or Palestinian. So I got a lot of names of food and a lot of recipes. And I wrote a little book about what food was produced in Jordan, what they did with the food. And I put some recipes at the end of the book just to illustrate the text. But it's not really a cookbook. If you don't know how to cook more or less Mediterranean food, it wouldn't make much sense. And I can't guarantee that all the recipes are 100% accurate. But it made quite a sensation because the Jordanians now say, well, now we have a cuisine.
So you were the creator of a gourmet cuisine.
Well, not gourmet,
well, just a cuisine, a recognized cuisine.
But the interesting thing is that, see, Marjayoun, historically and geographically, and